So I was outside and I discovered on my parsley a bunch of little caterpillars, and these are little, I think these are second instar black swallowtails. Pretty cool. A couple other ones. I got a third instar that's hiding behind a leaf. I did bring these in. I have them in a little bug house. Let's see if I can get him to show. There he is. Yeah, not too happy with me right now. But the one I really wanted to point out, I was really psyched to see. I was outside, and in the front of my house I have 3 little rue plants. And I watched a female giant swallowtail laying eggs. And she left me a bunch of little caterpillars. And that's one. This is a second instar. I unfortunately didn't get any video or photographs of the actual eggs. The weather was not exactly nice. At the time I saw her laying eggs, I didn't have my macro lens with me. Oops. Here's a little closer view of one of them. They're probably, I want to say, about 1 centimeter long, about 1/2 inch. Tiny little things. And when they first hatch out, they were perhaps a couple of millimeters long. Really, really tiny things. And these will get quite large if they survive. I'm just hoping I have enough roux to feed them all. There's probably about a 6 or 8 of them. They kind of look like little bird poops. It's the way they camouflage themselves so they don't get eaten by birds. This little guy's just hanging out on the edge of the container. And this one's probably about 4 millimeters long. Really, really tiny. I'm not sure if he's getting ready to shed. It's really quite fascinating to watch these little guys go through their growth and then eventual metamorphosis. One on the move, heading down to another leaf. But I didn't realize that I had the 2 different species here. When I first collected these, I thought they were all giant swallowtails until I found the couple on my parsley leaves, which is in the back of the house. Then I realized, oops, I made a boo-boo, and I misidentified. And this is another one of the little black swallowtails. Probably a second instar. And you can tell the difference. This one here has a white spot on the back in the middle, whereas the giants have 2 like orangey spots. I'll go back to the giants. I apologize for the blur out as I refocus. There you can see this is at a similar stage in 2 spots, kind of orangey colored. Not quite as spiky looking as the black swallowtail. Being that I'm up in the Northeast, they seem to favor Rue. I have a friend that has a pollinator garden and a lot of native plants, and she finds giant swallowtails on prickly ash. They also like citrus plants like lemon trees. The black swallowtails I find a lot on parsley. This little guy's moving about. I'm probably trying to find a spot to start nibbling on some leaves. I just put some fresh parsley in. So if you have any questions on providing host plants for different caterpillars, best thing to do is look up online. This is another one of the black swallowtails. You can see it does look quite different from the giants. The two giants have two like orangey spots on the back, and the black swallowtails have the one white spot at the same stage. They also look a little more spiky compared to the giants. It's interesting to watch the two grow side by side. And if you have any questions on raising these here, let me know. Black swallowtails have a variety of different host plants. I tend to find them on my parsley. The giant swallowtails like citrus and prickly ash. And the favorite in my yard is rue, which is an herb. And I buy organic, non-treated rue from one of the nature garden centers that tends to favor not using treated products. And this is another one of the little black swallowtails. Probably a second instar. And you can tell the difference. This one here has a white spot on the back in the middle, whereas the giants have two like orangey spots. I'll go back to the giants. I apologize for the blur out as I refocus. There you can see this is at a similar stage. Two spots, kind of orangey colored. Not quite as spiky looking as the black swallowtail. Being that I'm up in the Northeast, they seem to favor rue. I have a friend that has a pollinator garden and a lot of native plants, and she finds giant swallowtails on prickly ash. They also like citrus plants like lemon trees. The black swallowtails I find a lot on parsley. This little guy's moving about. I'm probably trying to find a spot to start nibbling on some leaves. I just put some fresh parsley in. So if you have any questions on providing host plants for different caterpillars. Best thing to do is look up online, see what if you know the species of butterfly you're interested in attracting. Well, here we are on September 14th, and these swallowtails are getting huge. I've got another one that I found outside, and this one's a little smaller, probably in a 3rd instar size. One has already gone into chrysalis, and they're eating up all of my parsley. I cannot keep up with them. They've gotten quite large, and they are voracious eaters. This one here is probably in a 4th instar stage, not quite fully mature yet. Really got some very nice coloring on it. But you can see the black and greenish stripes, and it's got some little orangey spots. And I have one right now that is searching around the container looking for a place. I'm going to assume it's going to get ready to pupate. And here's the one that's been searching around the container. This one here I'm pretty sure is getting ready to pupate. It's really been hunting around looking for a place to go. Yep. Knowing his brother or sister now. And he just slipped off of his twig. Really nice coloring on this fella. So that's where the black swallowtails are at. And here are the giant swallowtails. And obviously I didn't mention in the other clip that I did separate them. I put them into 2 different containers. And the giants are getting quite large. From when the last time I recorded them, most of them were probably about 1 centimeter, and now they're probably pushing 2 centimeters to 2.5. A couple of the smaller ones are still on the smaller side. May or may not make it. But they're thriving for the most part. There's 7 of them all together. Sorry about the focusing issue. Autofocus sometimes does not want to work. There's another one. And cool thing about these guys, well, they certainly have great camouflage. They look really good for bird poop. So, good camouflage. And again, these guys are eating rue. I'm not sure if I'm going to have enough of it to feed these guys because they do get quite large. But we'll see. And here's one of the smaller ones, and he's not too happy with me poking at him. And this one here is the largest one. Probably at 2.5 centimeters. Probably more than that. 3 centimeters. This is kind of a typical resting pose, where they kind of hunch up their front end, their head, and their pro legs. And I'll leave it at that for now. I'll check in again and probably conclude this video when they reach their 5th instar stage and pupate. Alright, so stay tuned for the next portion. This is one of the larger caterpillars. It's almost full grown. Probably about 1.5 inches long. Very unusual coloring. Definitely resembles a bird poop, making it very unattractive for a predator to want to eat it. And this one here is exploring some leaves. Again, feeding Rue to these guys. Alright, the last clip I'll do will be when they have pupated, and you'll get to see the chrysalis. And then we'll have to wait until the spring. Moving over to my parsley, I brought in a small pot of parsley. I still have some black swallowtails that are feeding on it. This one here is kind of dark colored. I've never seen one really get this dark before. A little side view. And this one here is beginning to prepare to pupate. It's taken up this like J form. Let's see if I can get in closer for you to see the little thread that's harnessing it. It's a closer view and a little different lighting. You can see the little thread harnessing him to the plant. It's right in here, and it wraps, oops, yeah, you didn't like that too much, and it wraps around the body, holds him in place. You didn't like that I did that. Sorry about that, buddy. And you could see it a little bit better in this lighting. skin wrapping around here. Today is September 21st, and the giant swallowtails, some of them are already beginning to pupate. I have two of them right now that are in this resting position. They've hooked up to the top of the container, and are beginning to prepare to shed their skin. And this one here in front is resting, and I'm assuming this one will also prepare to change. And once they go into their chrysalis form, I'll have to let them stay over the winter and see what happens in the spring, if they do indeed emerge. It's a little closer view of the one. You can see the filament around the front end that harnesses it to the top of the container. It's spread some silk over the top and hooked up with this little thread. Really cool to watch.